are back to normality now after a long campaign. We're back to two different forces now with Xenos against Xenos. So what's happening here is, in this bombed out ruin, the Eldari forces, they've been confiscating all of the stockpiles of weaponry that the Imperium and the Orks have been building in the area, and the Orks are coming to claim all of their bombs and more back. Okay, so we're playing a Maelstrom of War mission. It's tactical escalation, so there's 6 objectives down, and you start off the game with 1 objective on the first turn, 2 on the second, and then it continues like that. And there's also an extra stipulation in this mission. It's not like 7th edition, where you select a certain brand of your objective card, like capture and control. That's the one both sides have selected. So both sides are going for the same one, capture and control. If you get that type of card and you succeed in getting it, you get an extra victory point on top of the one that you achieved. And then at the end of the game, you add up how many both players have scored of their chosen objective, then you score an additional victory point if you scored more. So it's quite an exciting mission, this one. So the objectives are located here, just outside of this knackered rhino. There's another one on the steps of that building. There's another one up on high, so any unit with the fly keyword is going to look to try and get that one. We've got another one just on the corner of the building. There's one on the hill here, a little bit in the open. And then of course there's one in amongst the bomb piles. This is the one that the mechs are the most interested in, because it's in amongst all the dakka. Okay, we've got 2,000 points of Drukhari with a support of Harlequins. So it's 2 detachments. We've got a battalion detachment and a vanguard detachment, the one with the fast attacks. And we've got the warlord here. So this is Masque from the Kabal of the Flayed Skull. That's what Kabal this is. And he's got the husk blade, he's got a blast pistol, and he's the warlord, so he's going to have the tenacious survivor, which gives him 6+, you can ignore the wound. Next HQ, we've got the Harlequin troop master. He's got a neuro pistol and a power sword. He's probably going to get updated when the new Harlequins Codex comes out, if those weapons don't change, but I'm just going to play them as is for this game, since it's the first game with the Harlequins. Troops, we've got a unit of witches, there's a agonizer in there, and the Hydra gauntlets. For their drugs, since it's the only unit that can take drugs in this army, we're going to just give them +1 strength, so they should be able to deal out a bit of damage there. Got the Kabal warriors, we've got dart lance in there and a blaster. All the rest just have the splinter rifles. And then third troops choice is going to be the players, all of the Harlequin troops here. So we've got a unit of 11, 5 with just the combat blades, and then 3 with the embraces, and then 2. Yeah, we've got 3 with the embraces, and then we've got 3 with the Harlequins kisses, because there's the third one at the back there. So again, the weapons are a bit hit and miss with the Harlequins these days. That might get updated, I hope, but we're just going to play them as is. So to complete the rest of the battalion, we've got the dedicated transports for the witches. We've got the venom double cannons on there, dart lance on the raider, scourges, there's 2 haywire blasters in there. We've got a heavy for the ravager, it's fully loaded with the disintegrator cannons. Then we've got a 5-man team of incubi. They're going to have a venom with the double cannon on, and then we've got 2 flyers, both the same. We've got the dart lancers on and the double splinter rifle on the front, and of course the missile array underneath. And in the vanguard detachment, we've got another HQ. It's a solitaire, just as you see, with the neuro disruptor, and the 3 units of sky weavers, and they've got the shuriken cannon underneath, and they've all got the zephyr glaives. Where the shadow seer for psychic powers has got fog of dreams, and can also do smite, and that's pretty good defensive power. The enemy unit has to -1 to hit, so there's a good defensive tactic built in there for the Harlequins. Also, it actually just gives a radius of 6 where infantry units if you wound them, you've got to take 1 off the dice roll. So the the Shadow Sea is quite good defensively as well.
2,000 points of Orks here, led by this Big Mek. He has a oiler with him. I have another Big Mek here. There's a shot attack gun, an oiler, an ordinary mech with an oiler. Heavy slot, we've got looters, 15 of them, riding in this battle wagon. Has 4 big shooters. Morkanaut, the Gorkanaut. Over here, we've got 3 units of boys. We've got shooters, big shooter in each. There's 11 in each mob, each riding a truck. And then we've got for fast attack, we've got 3 units of stone boys with a knob, each with a power claw.
Nasty.
Right, so the warlord, his trait is tenacious survivor. 6+ save.
Okay, and of course it's worth noting that the Morkanaut has the custom force field as well, so invulnerable saves for the Orks, and they've got quite a lot of shooting. Okay, we've ended up with a frontline assault deployment, and the Orks get the place first, so this is how it's all ended up. We've got the Orks in a big chunk in the middle, so the custom force field with the 9-inch radius is working overtime. You've got to be fully within 9 inches, so most things are doing that, it looks like. So nearly all vehicles have invulnerable 5 saves. That's going to come in handy against the Dark Lancers. So the Dark Eldar have got, or the Drukhari as they're called now, got both flies in the corner of the board. I've got the witches, the incubi ready to go up the board in their venoms. We've got the Raider here with the Darklands capability. We've got the Warlord right next to them, so he's just going to have to stay up a height and stay out of trouble. All of the Harlequins, they're just tucked there. They're going to have to do something spectacular. I think they might be out of their element here, going against these giant mechanized god robots. And most of the skimmers on this side, so we've got nearly all of the Harlequin jet bikes in this department. The heavy firepower from the disintegrator cannons could come in handy. And then of course the last fly just there. The Drukhari have also got the Scourgers ready to come in from the sky, but the Orks have got 2 units of Stormboys ready to do the same. 1 unit of Stormboys is tucked right in there, so 2 units come in for the Orks that could come in just about anywhere. Because they've tucked up in the middle, that'll be a good squad, 2 good squads to try and come in on the outside objectives. So we'll have to see how that comes around when the game matures. So Orks will go first, unless Drukhari can steal the initiative. So I'm getting myself a red dice here for the Flayed Skull. Kabal, 5, no good. We're just going to have to let that go. So Orks turn 1. Orks on the move straight away, still staying in that chunk, and they're moving up past all of the bombs and all of the ammunition here. Going up this channel, everyone wants that invulnerable 5 save. So the 2 trucks are over here, they've got the shooter boys in. The battle wagon, this has got all the looters in with the mech with the custom force field. This can actually move and shoot even with all the passengers as well, even though they've got heavy weapons. It's got that special rule, the mobile fortress, and that's about it. Everyone's just going to try and take shots at the Eldar, mostly needing 5s and 6s here to shoot depending on what the target is. So we're going to get this underway. I'm not bringing in the Stormboys yet, or are they going to wait? Stormboys are going to wait, so the Orks are going to open up with all that tasty dakka in the centre. Right, the Orks begin the shooting with the small arms from the trucks. It's been pretty good. All the shooters from the trucks go at the troop. They've killed 4 in total, even with the -1 to wound with the Shadow Sea being present, but 4 have died. We're a bit worried about our leadership test now. This unit takes a wound from the big shooters from those squads as well, but there's still everyone to fire. So what we're going to do is we're going to fire this shot attack gun. In fact, sorry, first of all, this missile launcher from this truck fires at the raider, gets a hit, gets the wounds that it needs, so it's taking 3 damage, and now the shock attack gun from the truck, I can just see a sliver of the vehicle so it can fire. So the shot attack gun, it's 2d6 for the strength, so it's going to be strength 8, it's big, and then it's d6 shots. This is how many are coming out of that weird and wacky weapon. So 4 strength 8 shots. So needing 5s to hit. He's still an orc. Right, so there's 2 hits at strength 8, so you're needing 3s to wound the raider. Right, 1 wound. So what we need to do is save on our invulnerable 5 with our night shield. Where did that go?
Yeah, you got it.
That is a 5. Thank you. In the darkness there was a 5. Alright, the raider is still under pressure here. You're going to be shot at by the looters from the same truck. So it's D3 shots, and there's a lot of guns on board. Right, they're getting 1 shot each. It's D3 for the unit. So a bit of mercy there from the Orks. So is the 12 in the unit?
Yeah, I think I'll re-roll to use a command roll on that one.
Okay, so
try it again.
Command point, re-roll.
So
still a 1. Still a 1. The Orks say gah. So there's 12 shots pumping out, still hitting on 5s. It's strength 7, I think, there's still, so it's still potent. Right, so the looters, there's actually 15 on board, not just 12, so they're all firing up at the raider, hitting on 5s. So the def gun is basically an auto cannon that fires D3 shots. But only 2 hits. That was a bit poor. The Orks have been rolling well so far.
Oh,
and double 1, no. I got off pretty lucky there. I must say that was AP -1 and 2 damage, so very, very lucky. Right, so the battle wagons big shooter shots, there's 4 big shooters on that, so 12 shots, and they've been targeted at the bikes here. So they're hitting on 6s because these have got hollow launchers. Right, 3 hits in there. Right, so the bikes are strength 4, toughness 4, but strength 5 weapons, so needing 3s. Gets them all, and then we're saving on the invulnerable 4s. You might get a bike here. Oh, 2 wounds. That will be a bike going down. What we'll do is we'll use a command point reroll. See if we can save a bike. Whoops. We do get it, so bike is on his last wound. It doesn't end there. We've got the Morgonaut. He's going to speak up now. So again, 12 big shooter shots are coming at the bikes. All other weapons are going to be at the raider up top. He wants first blood. So here we go, 12 big shooter shots, hitting on 6s because of the halo launcher. There's 3 again, so wounding on 3s. This is just a total nightmare for the Harlequins. Gets 2. All he needs is 1 to take a bike out. And so bike's dead, and another wound on another. Still not first blood, but horrendous casualties for the Harlequins so far. Right, so there's now the custom blasters from the Morgonaut. Right, so we're going to go with the custom blaster out the belly first. It is within range, so it hits on a 5. Gets that hit. The Orks are just incredibly good shots today. It's strength 8, so needing 3s to wound. Gets that wound, just 6s. Nothing but 6s today.
AP 3.
AP -3, but we do have night shield, so invulnerable 5 again. We do get that. We've been very lucky with that. Now it's the big cannon version on his arm. That's D6 shots.
There you go.
Of
D6.
the same magnitude. 3 shots coming out of it, hitting on 5s. All miss. But still 2 more rockets off its sleeve, straight at the raider, hitting on 5s. These are just as potent, but they miss as well. Alright, so we've survived.
Bloody Orks.
Survived 1 massive robot. Still got another to put up with. He's hiding behind the boxes. Right, we've got the other god vehicle. It is the Gorkanaut, and he's selected all of his weapons at the raider, aside from the double twin big shooter. More big shooter shots at this solo bike now. Desperate for first blood, so hitting on 6s with the hollow fields in effect. gets 1 this time. Wound on 3. He's not going to be killed by that. Does get the wound though, saving on a 4. We do not get it, so this bike is on its last wound. Right, now we've got the rest of its weaponry. So the Deathstorm Mega Shooter is firing at the Ravagers, is all the rest of the weapons on it. So it's like a heavy bolter but strength 6. But what you do is you roll 3d6 and that's how many shots.
Here we go.
So that's 11, 12, 13 shots. A lot of dakka in the tank on that one. So this is hitting on 5s again. Still only an Ork as the pilot, but could do it.
So 5s?
5s, there's just the one.
1 wound.
1 wound. It's strength 6. So saving on, it's AP -1, so saving on our 5 invulnerable anyway. And we'll get that. Doing well with those invulnerable saves. 2 rockets now. Both go astray. Right, so that's all from the Gorkanaut. It's now down to 2 big shooters, 1 on the truck, 1 from the passengers inside. They're going to fire just together at this venom, so needing 6s to hit. Just trying to shave off a few wounds if you can, but no hits at all. And I think that is the end of the Ork shooting. It was pretty ferocious for a while in this alley, but we've come through it and we still haven't coughed up that all-important first blood. Alright, so straight on to the leadership phase. Lost 4 in this unit. They had leadership 8, so 4 plus 5 is 9 to have lost an extra Harlequin. So not a good day for these guys and girls. Right, so that's the end of the Ork turn. Their objective that they pulled in that turn was capture and control, which is the one that were both selected at the start of the game. And it was this objective that they needed, so they're not going to discard it because that would actually cost them a victory point. So they're going to have to keep it in the hand and perhaps go for that later in the game. And that would score them 2 points perhaps. But no first blood in that turn either, just clung on to life there did the Harlequins. Right, so we've moved with all of the Eldari here. We think we're in a decent position. We've got secure objective 1 as our objective card. It is a one that we could score 2 points on because of the mission stipulation, but it's parked right in there, in between the 2 machines. So we can't get there just yet, but if we can get more troops, more figures in there than those machines, we could take it, but we can't actually get figures in there. The gap is so tight, so we're going to have to take out one of these machines just to get there. So it's Dark Lancers to the fore. Both flyers come in from each side. They're going to try and deal with that front, the Morganaut with the custom force field. If we don't bring that down, then it's going to be such a hard task. The Ravagers made a sidestep. It's going to contribute as well. Staying here on the objectives just to try and take them. This is still one that they need, so we don't want the Storm Boys to come in and land there. So staying put. This spike drops back. It's only on its last wound. We don't want to lose him. And we've got the Incubi sitting on this objective, and then the Witches are making their way up the hill to try and get that one. So we're just trying to outmaneuver the Orks. We definitely haven't got the bodies to do it, but we've certainly got the maneuverability, and I suppose that's the Drukhari for you. So we're going to go straight onto the the static phase, because we have got a trick that can make this a little bit easier for us. We're going to do the Shadow Seer, and he's going to do Fog of Dreams onto the Morganaut. So it passes on a 7. It does come off, but with perils in the meantime. So D3 wounds for the Shadow Seer, just the 1, thankfully. So 1 wound for the Shadow Seer. Are you going to try and... Oh no, you don't have a Psychic to try and ignore that. So I'll just go straight through. Can't do anything about that. So it's pretty significant because it minuses 1 for that unit to hit all other Harlequin units. And we do plan on going into combat with that. So it'll be at a -1. So that's step 1. And then we're going to do Smite, because you can do 2 static powers. So the closest unit we've made it the Morganaut. So let's see if we can get this off. We do on a 5. D3 mortal wounds for the Morganaut. We'll get 1. We're going to use a command point to re-roll that because we need to get high. 2, that'll do. So 2 wounds on the Morganaut. Alright, we'll say that's a successful static phase. What we're going to do now is we're going to stick with the Harlequins. The Shadow Seer is going to fire the hallucinogen grenade launcher. So it's assault 1, and we hit it, so that's what we needed. So what you do, it doesn't have a profile, so to speak. You roll 2d6, and that's a 9. And if the roll is equal to or greater than the target unit's leadership, then it suffers D3 mortal wounds. So that is only leadership 7, the Morgonaut, so I have actually passed. It's going to take a further D3 wound, so the Harlequin's shown a little bit of trickery here. Just 1 wound, so what we're going to do is we're going to use, because it's a different phase, use another command reroll to try and get higher, because mortal wounds is what we need, and it's what we get. Excellent, another 3 wounds. Alright, fire the rest of the unit, all the pistols, throw a couple of grenades from, well, a grenade each from each squad, with the troop master and the troops themselves. And no wounds on the Morgonaut. We even fire the splinter cannons as well at long range. The Morgonauts don't do anything. It's hard with those poison weapons against vehicles. So we're going to just move straight onto the Ravager and the disintegrator cannons at the Morgonaut. So hitting on 3s. And we get all but 1. That's some incredible shooting. 5s to wound because it's strength 5. And we get 3. Right, so these are saving on the invulnerable 5 because it's AP -3. So, triple 5. And those are damage 2 each, so I really wanted those to go through. Right, I'm just going to move straight on then. We're going to have all of the weapons from this flyer at the Morgonaut. So the 2 Dart Lancers first. 2 hits, that's what we like to see. 3s, that's not what we like to see. Can't re-roll because we've used our stratagem already. Right, going to do missiles. Right, we're selecting Shatterfield missiles, so we're getting D6 shots out of it, so we're getting 4. Hitting on 3s, all hit. These are strength 7, still needing 5s, it's a tough nut, that one. 2 wounds. Actually, with this weapon you can re-roll failed wound rolls. No, it's still only 2, it's AP -1, so saving on 4s now. So any failures will be, well, 1 failure, so there's an extra wound on it. We're going to move on to this Razor Wing, exactly the same thing. I forgot to mention we did fire the splinter rifle off the front but didn't do anything. So this, exactly the same thing at the Morgonaut, exactly the same missiles, but we'll do the Dart Lancers first. We'll get 1 hit. Oh. 4s to wound, we'll get it. It's an invulnerable 5 save needed. And gets it again. What is going on? Can't hurt these Orks. So same missile firing at them, just 1 shot, and it's a miss. And then the splinter rifles, 2 hits, needing 6s, nothing. Not good. Right, we're relying on the Dart Lancers here. We've got 1 from the vehicle itself. At the Morgonaut we've missed. And then we've got a blaster and a Dart Lance on board, so we're firing at the Morgonaut again. So the Dart Lance missed, blaster has hit. 4s, fails to wound. Right, not going well whatsoever. We're doomed now. We've put ourselves in a position where we needed to do lots of damage, so we try and just deal with it in combat a little bit, but we're just walking into certain death now. So what we're going to do is hope for the best. We're going to fire 2 shuriken cannons at the Morgonaut, see if we can get lucky. All but 1. Strength 6, needing 5. We'll get 1, so saving on a 3. Ah, well, there's an extra wound. Every extra wound helps. Alright, so we'll finish that off with a shuriken cannon shot through a doorway here on the truck, and put a wound on the truck, but still not what we wanted. That's just a little bit extra. This venom can't fire because it did move flat out and it can't see anything, so it's on its way to that objective, but not a good shooting phase by any means of the word. We're just going to have to hold on to our hats here and just dive into combat, and hopefully that will survive and roll invulnerable saves. So we're going to put in the Harlequins, the troop, everybody on the Morgonaut. That's what we're going to do, and then these bikes are going to go into the trucks, so we're going to see how the Overwatch turns out. Right, I made it through all the Overwatch. All of the Harlequins go in on the Gorkanaut. We've arranged it so we can fight with every single person. The bikes there go in against the 2 trucks as well, so they've braved the Overwatch from the trucks. They're in. We've pinned the Orks back, so even if we don't do any damage, we've sort of got a a moral victory there we're going to hold on to. But we've got a lot of attacks coming in with the Harlequins. We're going to choose to fight with the troop first, and we've still got all of these special combat weapons alive. So we're going to do the embraces first, and there's 4 attacks each here, and there's 3 of them. And these are hitting on 3s, but that doesn't look particularly grand. No, we just lost a few, that's okay. These are only strength 4, so we're winning on 6. So 1, but we do get to re-roll all failed wounds because we have the troop master in with us, so he gets to use that benefit on them. So 2 wounds. So the embrace is AP -3. It's basically a power sword. It's strength 4. So 2 wounds, and you're gonna. Does the invulnerable save work in combat, or is that gonna just be?
I doubt it, no.
Right, custom force field only works against range attacks. So because it's AP -3. 2 saves required on a 6. So gets 1. What was the other?
2.
It is a 6. Okay, so it's still getting those crucial saves. Only 1 wound on the Gorkanaut. It's pretty upsetting, to be honest. But now we've got the Harlequin kisses to go. See if these can do something. 3s to hit. Okay, we've got a good portion. 6s again, these are only strength 4. We get 1, and then we get to re-roll the wound because of the troop master. 2 in total again, but this is only AP -1, so saving on 4s against these 2. So they both go through, and these are D3 damage each. So are you caring to use a stratagem to re-roll one of those, or are you happy to let those go through?
Yeah, we'll re-roll one of them.
Okay, another stratagem in play. Passes that one. So D3 damage from a kiss, and it's only a 1. Ugh. Right, we're going to move on to the troop master now. The Orks are not using any counter offensive stratagems. I think they can just take this one on the chin, which I'm sure they can. So we're going to move straight on to the troop master. He's got 5 attacks with his power sword, and he hits them all. 6 is the wound. We'll get 1, and then it's re-rolls because he does that for himself. So 2. Saving on 6s because it's AP -3. Right, 2 more wounds for him. Right, we're going to move on to the Shadow Seer, and let's have a look. Mist Stave. So 3 attacks for this one, and hitting on 2s, so it's all good. These are strength 5, so again needing 6s, but we'll get to re-roll because of the troop master. Right, 1 goes through. It's AP -1, so needing a 4. That does save, and again that's disappointing. That could have been D3 damage coming his way. So that's all we can do on the Morkanaut. We're going to move on to the bikes now. We're going to do them both on the truck on the left. Right, we've got the bikes now attacking with the Zephyr Glaives on that truck. So we're hitting on 3s, only get half. So it's toughness 6, needing 5s to wound. Get 1, but we are within range of the troop master, so we'll get 2. These are AP -2, so you're saving on 6s with the truck, and of course gets a save of a 6. It's 2 damage, so if you roll a 6 it can ramshackle down to 1 damage. No, so 2 damage come through onto the truck. So it's been a very poor turn for damage for the Eldar Alliance here.
It's coming back at you.
And it's not very good because they've got to hit back. How many wounds did we do on the Morkanaut in total this round?
We have 11.
11, right, so it's hitting on 4s now against the people in combat, but if you remember we played Fog of Dreams on him, so it actually means it goes to 5, so he's hitting on 5s, but the way the Orks have been rolling, he'll probably just wipe that unit out. Right, the Morkanaut to fight back now, so it's going to use the Smash attack, I think it's called. So he substitutes 1 attack for 3 attacks, and they're still really nasty. So he's coming away with 9 attacks in total, and he's hitting on 5s if you put in all the psychic powers and his damage altogether. So, and he's attacking the Shadow Seer, so he's going to try and take out the character. So 9 dice, and hitting on 5s. And of course the Orks still got it in them, 3 hits there, and wounded on 2s. Right, so you are wounded on 2s, but the Shadow Seer has the special rule, shielded from harm, so you subtract 1 from your dice. So 2 wounds go through. So we've still got an invulnerable 4 save here, and we'll make one of them. What's the damage? It's damage 2, isn't it, this weapon?
Yeah.
It's damage 2. I think we're going to use a command point to re-roll that in the... Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the command re-roll to try and save the Shadow Seer. Gets it, right, well used stratagem there. So the Shadow Seer remains unharmed with that big claw hovering over his head. He's come out there unscathed. So now it's the trucks to fight. Okay, so I thought the trucks were actually a little bit better, but they've just got 3 attacks each, hitting on 5s. They've come away with 1 wound on the jet bikes. Need to save on a 4 and we'll get it. So that's good news for the Harlequins for saving. Damage could have been better, but we've hurt the Morgonaut, but there's a lot of mechs that can just fix him back up, so that's our concern. And the big concern is we just could not get next to that objective, no matter how hard we tried. So we've no points, still no first blood, and we're going on to Ork turn 2 now, so can they... It's Ork turn 2, they've pulled their objective card, it's overwhelming firepower. So what's gone on is everyone's just pulled out of this mass combat here and they've just left the Harlequins flapping in the wind. The Morgonaut is the big and stompy rule, so it can drop back and fire, and all of the units have got out of the trucks so they can fire unimpeded. The trucks can't, but that's not an issue really. Orks are lined up across the balcony, they're going to take it to the Harlequins. This is not going to be pretty. All they need to do is wipe out a unit, and that would be first blood and the objective that they need. So they're lined up to do that, and the big god machine's still going to pump out some firepower no matter how hard we try to silence them. Probably going to try and take out some of the venoms in this area. And still, the Storm Boys are not here yet, they're just waiting. The truck with the looters in, or the battle wagon rather, it's pulled around the side. It's going to put some heavy firepower on these Skywavers here, so I don't fancy their chances either. And they're protecting that objective that the Orks need as well. So another turn of devastating firepower from the Orks we expect. And surely they're going to cough up first blood now, surely. Alright, so the Orks have opened up with the shooting attacks and still just as good as ever. The shooting gallery starts, so we've only got 2 Harlequins left now in this unit, and this bike's been wounded. There's 2 units of Orks in this building, and they've both got assault 2 weapons, so that's 20 shots each squad, and then a further 20 shots from the truck in between those 2 walkers, so that's 60 shots, and they've survived down to just 2 Harlequins left. It's looking grim, and then the Storm Boys are bearing down on them. The Storm Boys with the pistols did some damage as well, so they're hanging on by the skin of the teeth. 2 more and they're dead. But still trying to claim overwhelming firepower and first blood. The Gorkanaut is going to shoot up at the Ravager again, or the Raider rather. So is all the weapons going at this? No,
apart from the heavy, the big shooters are going for the
troop
Harlequin troop.
Alright, so here we go then. We're going to have the... Is it the custom blaster first that you want to do?
Yeah, I'll do the big one first.
So the Mega Blaster, right? So it's D6 shots. 3 shots coming out of it. Right, and this is hitting on 5 still. Doesn't matter that it's damaged, it's only the weapon skill that suffers. So it's missed twice and it's rolled a 1, so that means it's suffered a mortal wound. Alright, so the Morgonaut, he suffers that wound, but forgot to say in the moving phase, the Big Mek is around the back of it and he's already fixed. He rolled on a D3, rolled a 2, and then because of his got oiler that goes to a 3, so he's actually healed 3 wounds on it before that happened. So the Morgonaut, he's still damaged on his 2nd tier, but he's only taken 9 wounds now, so he's still repairing himself, and it just looks like he's going to clag on all the armour before we even kill it. So, so we've got the custom blaster from the belly at the Raider then.
Okay.
Hitting on a 5, does not get it. Right, 2 rockets. Again on 5. Gets 1. Wounds on a 3. Gets it on a 4. Right, saving on the invulnerable 5. No, don't get it. So it's just straight 3 damage to those rockets. They're absolutely terrifying. Right, so the raid is damaged, but it is hanging on. The Harlequins, we've already fired the double big shooters because there's so many dice. They survive still, all thanks to the Shadow Seer making it hard to wound them. So they're still intact. 2 left. And they're going out to fire. He's got a load of firepower, so I expect he's going to shoot in as well. Right, the Gorkanaut started firing. Literally with the fire, it turns the Scorcher on the Harlequins, kills 1, and then the double twin big shooter that has put 1 wound on the last Harlequin. And need to save that on a 4, or else it's first blood and overwhelming firepower. Oh, we get it. Thank our lucky stars. Thanks to Gorak. Alright, so overwhelming firepower and first blood has been achieved. The shot attack gun right at the back fires at the raider and just kills it outright. So we're going to see if it explodes. Does not explode, so we're going to have to disembark and we're going to have to see if we take any casualties on board. Right, we lose 1 warrior in the explosion, or the controlled explosion, so this should be alright for morale. Then it's the rest of the truck itself and the looter boys. They fire at this venom, but it does well. And it's only taken 2 wounds, so still pretty much fresh, it's still intact, but we've given up 2 points because of that destroyed vehicle there, and now it's going to be a hammering over here. The Storm Boys are going to go in, there's possibly the boys to run in on these bikes as well. We'll have to see how it goes. Alright, the Orks feel the calling and they're charging now, so the Storm Boys go in first to actually attack the Troop Master and this troop, and we'll throw grenades at them and kill 2 Storm Boys. So then they're susceptible to heroic intervention from the Shadow Seer, so that's how that's played out. These Orks just pile into these jet bikes. This is going to be a tough fight over here, so we're going to see how this turns out. There's a lot to be done now. Both units have loads of attacks between the Harlequins and the Orks. Fists are going to be flying. Right, so the Orks just totally clean out the 2 bike squad, just a horrendous amount of attacks, and poor saving just demolishes them. So they consolidate straight onto this combat, but we're going to do a counter-offensive stratagem, 2 points, and now we're going to trigger our Troop Master to fight. He's going to fight the Storm Boys, try and kill all of those before they get the chance to attack. Alright, so the Troop Master doesn't do much at all, only kills 1 with the power sword. Really lament that power sword not being able to be the master crafted +1 strength one that it used to be. So wound on 5s, he finds it difficult, only kills a single Ork, so he's just probably going to have to get his arms cut off for some better weapons, because that's pretty poor. So it's now the Orks to fight, and it looks like they're just going to wipe out the Harlequins. Alright, so we've done the combats now. So the Orks fight and managed to save the Troop Master. He did target him with a power claw, and the other attacks save just. And then the Shadow Seer contributes, kills one of the Orks, puts a wound on the knob. It's a D3 weapon damage, but only managed a 1, so he's still alive with 1 wound. So it's been a tough fight. Harlequins have come out on the receiving end there, but it's now morale tests. We've lost 5 Harlequins this round in that squad, so 5 + 1 is 6. We will actually keep that Harlequin. I expected him to disappear there, but he's holding on. Right, so that's the end of the Orcs' turn. They scored 2 points for destroying the Raider because of first blood and overwhelming firepower. So the Orcs have done incredibly well with the shooting. Just I've never seen dice like it. Alright, so the Harlequins and the Drukhari are going to have to make the best of it. And that's what we're going to do. So the Harlequins, they've jumped out of combat using the rise and crescendo rules that they have. They've left the combat and they still operate as normal. But what they've done is they've jumped out of combat. They are on this objective now. We've got more models on that objective than the Orks, which means we have that. It's going to get us 2 points, which is crucial at this stage. So the Harlequins have taken a battering all around, but looks like they're going to get the last laugh, and that's what they're all about. Right, we've got this wounded jet bike. It's going to come round to contribute. Now that the Orks have gotten out of the vehicles, which I suppose was half the plan, we're going to try and take away some of their objective scoring units. So we've got this jet bike pulling around here. This Venom is sped along here. Going to try and put that splinter double splinter cannon to use. The Incubi, they're doing grunt's work, not their forte, but they're just going to have to stay there on this objective and just defend it from any of those storm boys that might decide to drop in there in case that objective is needed. So we're just trying to put ourselves in good positions again. These jet bikes are staying on this objective for the same reason, and as is the Venom all the way over here. It's just blocking the objective for any deep striking Ork units. It might take a hammering next turn, but it's going to be worth it, I think, in the long run. The Flyers, they come forward. Going to have to put in a good shift with these Dark Lancers to get anywhere. Need to take this vehicle out once and for all, I think. But with the Harlequins being able to jump out there, the Orks have made that happen themselves. They're going to be kicking themselves for that, leaving a little gap for those Harlequins to get through. So we've wrestled that away from them. That's the big licks. And we did pull overwhelming firepower as well. So this Knob being on 1 wound left, he's the prime target, and I think we're going to get the last laugh on him as well. Maybe it's a shooting pistol through the eyeball for him. We start off with the psychic phase. We don't want to do smite because we don't want to kill this Knob because he is the nearest in the psychic phase, because that'll scupper our chances for overwhelming firepower. So we've done the Fog of Dreams on the Gorkanaut, so he's going to find it hard to target Harlequin units now. So we've opened up with some splinter rifles, killed 2 Orks. We've done the Dart Lance at the Gorkanaut, took only a single wound on it, but we've reserved the blaster for this Knob. If we can kill him, then that's overwhelming firepower. We've hit, wounds on a 2, gets him to AP -3, he's just toast. He's blasted. Right, so it's good news, it scores the Drukhari overwhelming firepower, so we're going to get some points this turn, we'll be happy about that. Right, we're just coming to the end of our shooting phase here. We've whittled these boys down to only 3 left. That was a lot of splinter rifles from here. But the main thing is we've fired at the Morganaut with the Flyer, did some decent damage with it, and we'll fire at it again with the Ravager. We've left it with 1 wound left, and we've still got 1 Flyer to fire at him. So if we don't get it done now, it's probably never going to be done because he'll just heal himself back up. So we've got 2 Dark Lancers at him from this Flyer over here. Yeah, so we've hit once, need a 3. We get it, right, saving on an invulnerable 5. He's had this up his sleeve all this time. Does not get it. Have you got any more command points left?
Yeah, but I'm not going to reroll it in case I explode.
Just letting it go, right, so it explodes on a 6 and he's gone. Does not explode, right. So he goes down, he's out of our hair, and that invulnerable 5 save is now gone. But we dedicated all of our weapons to him, so all those other shots get wasted, and that is the end of our turn. Which wasn't quite the end of the turn. We had the hallucinogen grenade launcher fire at the Gorkanaut, gets D3 mortal wounds on it because it's a really good weapon against this because it's only leadership 7, so it's been working well. There's another round of that awesome weapon at it, so 3 mortal wounds on the Gorkanaut. We're just starting to chip this one down as well. So all of a sudden it's looking a little bit brighter for the Drukhari. So we'll score 2 points for this objective and 1 point for overwhelming firepower because we killed that Knob. So we've got 3 points of our own now. Feel like we've come back in it after some dark days of turn 1 and 2. Turn 3 for the Orks now. They're going to try and fight back, get some points on the go. So they've pulled Kingslayer. It's not going to be done. The Warlord's up on that building over there. But they have pulled Objective 6, which is right over here. So the battle wagon's pulled forward. He's going to claim that one. The truck's coming forward, and then because it's turn 3, in come the Storm Boys. They've surrounded the jet bikes. They also need this objective, and this one will score 2 points for the Orks if they get it. So Orks can reroll the charge range, so these Storm Boys are pretty menacing. Those jet bikes have to watch themselves. Over here, these last 2 remaining Orks. There was 3, but at the end of the last turn they did lose 1 for a morale check. So they're going on to bigger, better things. These Orks come across the gantry here. They're going to fire up those shooters again. And then the Gorkanaut, he's going to put his flamer on the flyer, as you can do that. And he's got a lot of guns there. He's going to try and shoot this flyer down. I'm sure the looters will try and shoot this flyer down, because they've got very close to it. Even an Ork could probably hit from that range. Right, the Orks have started shooting. It's again, pick it on the Harlequins in the centre. All these shooters pick off the final troop that was in there, and then the characters start to take some hits. So we've taken all these shooter shots, even shots from the Gorkanaut and these boys. We've had 3 wounds on the Troop Master, 2 wounds on the Shadow Seer. So they've taken a bit of a hammering, but they're still alive. They've got 5 wounds each, those characters. Then the Gorkanaut, instead of firing at this flyer, he fires at the flyer behind him. Basically misses all of his shots, only gets 1 wound on it with a Deathstorm Mega Shooter. And then fires the double big shooter, the quad big shooter up at these, but doesn't get any damage. So now the battle wagon has fired all of its 4 big shooters at these Skyweavers, gets 1 wound, but now it's the real problem. It's the looter, the def guns from the looters at these. They've already got 2 shots each, and these are hitting on 6s actually, because the Skyweavers have the Mirage launchers, so just forcing the Orks to hit on 6s is what's keeping the Harlequins alive. So there's a lot of dice coming their way. 30 shots, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh dear. Right, 30 shots, hitting on 6s. There's some. Right, there's 4 6s in there. They're going to need 3s to wound because it's strength 7. And gets 3. It's much like an auto cannon, and it does 2 damage. So we're going to have to save these on invulnerable 4s. Oh, right, so he's already taken a wound, so 2 damage. He's dropped dead. There's only 1 left. And he takes the other 2 damage, so he's on his last wound now, that jet bike. Right, so the shot attack gun on board, he's going to leave this this biker left alone. He's probably going to get charged, so he's going to put his shots up on the razor wing, so he's going to get strength what? Because it's 2d6. So it's going to be strength 6. How many shots is he going to get out of this? He's getting 4 shots. So he's hitting on 6s because it's a hard to hit unit. He gets 1. Now he needs a wound on a 4. He gets that wound, so we have invulnerable 5 save because of Knight's Shield. We do not make it. Is this D6 or D3 damage? So it's actually just D3 damage, but it's the full 3, right? So this is taking 4 wounds now. It's got 6 left. Right, so we're doing charges now. The truck is charging at the bike. Couldn't do anything in Overwatch and it makes its charge. But now we're going to see if these can get in. So it's a 9-inch charge for these Storm Boys. They don't make it, but they've got Here We Go, which means they can re-roll. Very good unit. It's an 8, not good enough. Because he killed the front biker, this is now a 10-inch charge for that unit. So let's see it again, see if you can do it. No. Try again with Here We Go.
Can you just re-roll 1 dice?
It's got to be both. It's got to be both. That's a 9, 1 off. So it's not going to happen for those either. And it's a sad tale over here for the Harlequins. They've been surrounded. The Gorkanaut goes in against both characters. And there's an extra 2 Orks at the back there. Jumped in the combat as well. We've got the backup. And I think this is going to be the end for the Harlequins. They've fought bravely. In fact, it might not be totally the end, because we've played Fog of Dreams last turn on the Gorkanaut. He's at a -1 to hit still against Harlequin units. So if he rolls poorly for the Gorkanaut, they might survive, but I doubt it. He's got a lot of attacks. He's an angry, angry robot. Alright, so the Gorkanaut separated these attacks. He's using smash attacks. We're going to have 6 attacks against the Troop Master.
Need 4s?
Need 4s to hit because of Fog of Dreams. There's 3 hits. Wounding on 2s. Actually wounding on 3s because of the Shadow Seer, but they do all make it. So we need to save these on invulnerable 4s, and we need to save all of them or he's dead. And he's dead, but only just. We've run out of stratagems. Okay, now the lion's share against the Shadow Seer. It's end of the line now. 4s again, and that's a lot of hits. Okay, 2s to wound.
No 3s.
Oh yes, it's 2s to wound, but it's a -1 because the Shadow Sea has got defensive capability. Alright, so that's a lot. It's 8 to save. I need to save. No, 2 is going to do it. It's damage 2. This claw only had 3 wounds left, so the Shadow Sea is taken out also. So the Orks reigning supreme finally in this centre. Right, the Orks are going to try and finish off this bike with a truck. Couldn't get the other units in, but this bike's only got 1 wound left. The truck could do it, so he's got 3 attacks, hitting on 5s. Gets that 1. It's strength 6, so needing 3 to wound. Gets that wound. It's a 4, or he's dead. He makes it. That is crucial. If he died, then the Orks would claim that objective, and that would be 2 points for them. We've got a chance to hold on here. We're going to attack back with the Zephyr Glaive just to see if we can do any damage to the truck. So 3 attacks. Now we're hitting on 3s. We got 2. This is strength 3 plus 1, so we're looking at strength 4, needing 5s against the truck. Don't get it. It's damage 2. That Zephyr Glaive. It could do damage, but not today. So we're going to have to do a morale check for these. But the leadership 8 -1. Was still good even if we rolled a 6 on the dice, so he will state that is crucial. We're not coughing up that objective to the Orks just yet, but over in the centre here the Orks have just cleaned out everyone who was after those bombs. Right, that's the end of the Ork turn, so they don't score this one, but they do score that objective where the battle wagon is. It's not a capture and control objective, so they only get 1 point for that, whereas this one was, so this was pretty crucial. But the Storm Boys look like they're going to go in there and take that next turn. I have to do something about that, I think. Right, so Drukhari turn 3 now, and the reserves are coming with the deep striking ability, so we've gone right in behind the Storm Boys. We're going to have to take out these 2 units just to try and stop the Orks getting this objective, so everyone's come on the scene. This jet bike breaks off from combat with the Harlequin rules. He can still act as normal. This one moves flat out from over here. He's got an assault weapon, so he's going to fire that. And then also with the Harlequin special rules, he can charge afterwards. So he is also on his last wound. So both bikes are on the last wound. We don't want to charge him in case he dies. So he's going to stay after the objective. He's expendable. So if we can take away the Storm Boys, that'll stop units getting in to score. This Ravager's moved in just to block objectives as well, just so this truck can't score it just yet. The Venom comes along. He's going to try and shave off some Storm Boys as well. So we're pretty confident about all that's going on in this bit of the battlefield. And over here we've got the objective here. This is really crucial. The ships finally come in for all these objectives that we've been holding the entire game, and even up here. We're finally going to score this at the end of the turn, and then we've also got defend this objective, so if we hold this for the turn afterwards, we're going to get a further 2 points. So up on top here, it's really paid off. The Witches and the Venom are just staying put on the hill. We might be able to score line breaker at the end of the game if we just stay out of trouble, and hopefully that objective might come in one day, but I'm just going to stay there since there's nothing obvious to do. And then the Razor Wings just sort of crisscross, and they've ended up here. I'm going to try and fire it whatever we can see. We can get some good line of sight on this battle wagon if we choose to try and take this out. There's no invulnerable save for the Orks this time, but if we can take out the Storm Boys, we'll be happy with this. Alright, we'll start open fire on the Storm Boys. We've had both Harlequin bikes, this one at a -1 because it moved with an assault weapon. Well, we went flat out with the assault weapon, should we say. Only killed 1 Ork. Did make a save on a 6 as well. So just 1 Ork. We're going to have to come back to those. We're going to see how the Scourges get on. So we've got 3 shard carbines at these Orks, and we're also going to do the haywire blasters at them as well. We cannot allow these to live for the long run. We probably would have fired the haywire blasters at the truck, but cannot afford to have these live in the long run. So we're hitting on 3s with the shard carbine. That is a very good round of shooting. Wound on 4s. Right, so there's 5 wounds. Right, there's no AP on a shard carbine, so it's just straight up 6 saves for these Storm Boys. Gets 2, just incredible. So only 3 die. Right, 2 haywire blasters at them now. Get 1 hit, strength 4, no wound. So getting away with that as well. Right, we're going to do this venom at that lessened Stormboy unit. Is within rapid fire range. So good amount of hits. Again, needing 4s with the poison weapon. Not good, only 2, so saving on 6s again. Oh, squig hide armour just keeps on going. But one dies. So there's one left, and it is a knob, and he does have 2 wounds. So, and he's got a power claw. Scary. Right, we'll move on to the Ravager. We're going to try and kill this unit off with the disintegrators. So these are damage 2 and the AP 2. So we'll have no squig hide armour saves for these. Or will we? So anyway, here we go. Right, that's a very good round of shooting for that. Strength 5 needing 3s to wound. Right, well that should be the whole unit there. We've got everybody, because it's damage 2, that's even the knob gone. So Operation Kill the Storm Boys is halfway a success. Right, this Razorwing fires into the battle wagon with the Dart Lancers and the missiles. We'll actually put 6 wounds on this battle wagon, so we'll need a couple more just to shave it down to its next tier of damage. But we're getting there, that was pretty good. And we've reserved the Twinling Splinter Rifle for this knob. So we're not within rapid fire, so we're not rapid firing. So 1 hit. No wound, so he's living a blessed life. Right, we're going to fire this Razorwing at the battle wagon as well, so it doesn't have a save behind that wall, because we can't see it clear as day. So we're doing monocyde missiles first at it, so D6, so we're getting 3 shots, hitting on 3s, so we get 2 hits. It's strength 6, needing 5s, we get 1. It's got no AP, so he's saving on a 4 for the battle wagon. That is a save. Could have been 2 damage coming its way, but saves. 2 Dart Lancers at it as well. This is where the damage may be, right? So we've got 2 hits. What's its toughness again, the battle wagon? Is it
toughness 7?
Toughness 7, so 3s for the Dart Lancers, double 6. Wow, just carved straight through the armour as well. So double 6 again would be nice. But a 7 will do, so there's a further 7 wounds. It's taken 13 wounds in this shooting phase alone. Right, then we'll do the splinter rifles at those 2 orcs down the channel, but they filled a wound. So this has only got 3 wounds left now until its last tier of damage, so it can only move 6 inches, so it's going to have a hard time getting to that objective. So that was pretty much a success there. That lack of the force field, invulnerable 5 force fields, really punished the orcs this turn. And to the Dark Eldar, we've just kept on shooting. We had all of the splinter rifles down at these orcs here, killed 2, and the Dart Lance and the Blaster went after the Gorkanaut, got 2 wounds with the Blaster, but the Dart Lance missed. So some choice firepower coming in for the Dark Eldar this turn. Pretty happy with how they've done this time. And then this Venom in the corner just tries to put some shots on the truck, but it's very, very hard to damage a vehicle with a poison weapon, so it's not happening. But it's now assault, so what we're going to do is we're going to have the Scourgers try and assault on this one knob here. Let's see if we'll make it, and then we'll do the Overwatch afterwards, because it's not wholly necessary. Right, so we only got a 4. This knob needs to Overwatch with his pistol on a 6, and he missed. Right, so no charge made there, so he's going to have to risk it on his morale check here. Right, so I've done morale checks now. The orc unit in the building I lost 2, but they've passed the morale check, and the Storm Boy still stands. He's there, and he's not going away. So this is scuppered what the Eldars try to do to block this one. If they can just kill this bite in the shooting phase, which is very possible, they'll score that objective anyway in their turn. If they go about it the right way, if they don't get some quality saves. So it's not worked out perfectly over here, but we've done some damage to the orcs, that's what matters. But damage is good, points is okay. We've scored 1 point for objective 2, and we've got some in the bank there for next turn with defend that same objective. So we've scored 1 point for sure this turn, and unfortunately we pulled Witch Hunter, but the orcs don't have any psychers, so we're just going to discard that one. So just 1 point for the Drukhari. So just when you think the Orks are out of the fight, they pull a peach of a hand, to quote Doc Holliday. So we've got secure objective 3 for the Orks. So that's right over there where the venom is, so that's not very good for them, but everything else is. Defend objective 1, which is right in the centre, so if the Gorkanaut just keeps on doing what it is and looking after that, that'll be 2 points at the end of the Orks' next turn. Secure objective 5, which is the one they're trying to wrestle away. So now that objective, if they can claim it, is worth 3 points to the Orks at the end of this turn, if they can get it, which is very, very possible. So the Orks are going to experience a lot of points in these next 2 turns. So they're firing up the guns, putting the magazines in, and let's see if they're going to hold them up to that OEI and get some good shots in again. Alright, so I've done all the Orc shooting phase, and it's been an absolute disaster for the Drukhari. All of the Harlequins have been killed from all the big shooters from here, and the Harlequin jetbike that was here was killed by this Stormboy, the guy who would not die, and then he hits on a 6 against the jetbike and kills him with 1 shot, so it's just really insulting. And then all of the Scourges on the hill, they've all died as well. Really annoyed because this knob, it was here and we tried to charge him, but I forgot to look at the power from pain rules, and you can re-roll your charge range, so it just didn't even remember that rule. And then we're all killed on the hill by all the shots from this truck with all the shooters on and the big shooter, and then some shooters from the battle wagon. We've severely damaged the battle wagon, but its ballistic skill never goes down. It's always hits on a 5. And then the Ravager was just totally wasted by the looters to finally roll a 3 on all the shots, and then just nothing but 5s and 6s to hit. It was just insane. Comes away with about 15 hits and just totally nails it. So that's gone, doesn't blow up. The Orks now claim this objective for 2 points, and then a further point because it is the desired capture and control objective for the mission. So 3 points for that objective alone. And then the Gorkanaut shoots at this venom, and because they're hitting on 6s against the venoms, finds it a bit hard, but still gets a lot of hits, but we do save them. But now the setup, if they stay on this objective for another turn, then they've defended that and they're going to get another 2 points. So the Orks, just when they look down and out, they've just absolutely crippled the Drukhari. So we're going to have to pull a hell of a hand to stay in this game, because we're now severely down on points. It's turn 4 for the Drukhari, and we're trying to pull a good hand, but it just hasn't worked. We'll pull Master of the Warp, which would have been good if we still had our Shadow Seer alive, but that's long gone, so that's not going to score, so we're having to discard that. We've got Defend Objective 6, which is over here where all of the Orks now are, so we just cannot stop pulling cards where the Ork might is, so that one's going to be impossible. We've still got Defend Objective 2, so we'll get 2 points at the end of the turn. And we did pull Scour the Sky, so we're going to try and take out this last remaining Stormboy for a point. And then we'll set ourselves up possibly to try and take out the Warlord. He's out when he was fixing the vehicle, so we're going to try and catch him while he's not looking. So if we can do that, we might get some points, but what is frustrating is we've got our elite units around here on these 2 objectives, and they're just not pulling in the cards to score them, and we've got our best fighters just out of the fight, so it's really frustrating seeing that. I really wanted to use those incubi in this game, but they just stood behind a wall. So shooting phase for the Drukhari is over now. We shot the Dark Lance and the Blaster again at the Gorkanaut, but we didn't do any damage with it. Splinter rifles didn't really have a target. We tried to shoot the Stormboy but didn't kill him, so we had to put some monocyte missiles on him to kill him. And he's dead now, so that's Scour the Skies. He's been a thorn in our side since he didn't die the last time. And then the Dark Lancers at this truck, or the battle wagon rather, has now put it down on 2 wounds remaining. So it's teetering, but it's still alive, and those looters are still tucked safe and sound inside. We'll have the Flyer right in the corner, fires at the Gorkanaut, does a few bits of damage, but he's still just unharmed really in the scheme of things. We're going to have to put... Well, hopefully we could put in a lot of damage on him, and maybe he's explode and kill everyone around. That would stop him getting that objective that he's bound to get next turn, but it's not happening. It's just not happening. So we're going to see if we can pick up another point of Warlord kill with this venom. He's going to fire into the warlord at close range. Doesn't get more point blank than this. It's right in his ear hole. So we're going to try and hit on 3s. It's looking okay. And we're wounding on 4s. And that isn't good at all. This has been the story of the game. Right, so 1 wound. He saves on a 4 because he comes with hard armour. Does not save, but his warlord trait gives him a save of a 6. Oh, he's going to take that on the ammo run, on the oiler even. Well, that is just even worse. So cheeky. Right, we're just going to have to assault him then. That's the last thing we can do for shooting. Right, and the combat goes in. He doesn't get anything on the Overwatch, but the combat doesn't go our way either. We don't do any damage to the knob, and then he even puts 2 wounds on us back. So lost that in every department with our venom, so it's not good whatsoever. We've tied him in combat, but he's probably going to drop back. And we won't be safe in that combat when we'll be at the mercy again of those looters. So just 2 points there for the warlord and his unit of warriors on top there. So we've got defend objective 2 finally, so 2 points for him, and scour the skies for killing the storm boy. So 3 points in that turn, even though we didn't really do much except kill that storm boy. So I feel like we're behind. We need to count the points, see what's going on here. Right, so at the end of turn 4 here, we just counted the points, and the Orks have actually got 6 points to the Drukhari's 7, but they have got an easy 2 points in the bank because of the Morganort this turn. There's nothing we can do about that. So if you want to think about it, we are a point ahead, but only for a second, because the Orks next turn they're going to score that. We have to see what they pull in this next turn, but we definitely feel behind even if we're in front by 1. So we're running out of units now and we're in the wrong positions everywhere. It's Orks turn 5 now, and they've pulled another good hand. It's especially good if the game continues. So as we said before, they're definitely going to get 2 points at the end of this turn for the Gorkanaut still remaining on that objective. And now they've pulled some more defend objective cards. They need to defend this objective, which is easily going to be done, and this objective. So it's just a tale of 2 different stories here. Got the Dark Eldar just in that side of the board, and they've been there all game not scoring because the cards haven't been coming up, and then the Orks just getting the cards that they need exactly when they need them, providing that it goes on for this next turn, because they're not going to be able to score those unless it goes on, and if they do, then it's a surety of a win for the Orks, we think. So I've also got defend objective 2, but that is in the tower where the Lord is, so there's still more points to come for the Orks, and especially if it goes on for a turn. But there's not a lot of Eldar left, and there's going to be even less after this turn, so more ferocious shooting. Wouldn't be surprised if even the fly went down off all those looters, but we can only get lucky for so long. So as well, the mechs have gone around fixing up the vehicles again, so he fixes only 1 point this time on the battle wagon, and this mini mech only heals 1 on the Gorkanaut. So they've been doing the job all game, and because he didn't die in the combat, he's still at large, and now our opportunity to kill him is gone. He's gone to the back of the Orks, and he's basically gone forever now. I've missed that opportunity. Alright, the Orks have done the shooting now, so they're just slowly stripping away the venoms. Well, this one slowly dwindled and then was finished off by the looters and did not explode, so it didn't go down in a hail of fury. So it's gone. It's pretty good for the Orks. It's one of the nimble things that can score objectives, but it's out of the hair. The Orks have definitely got this objective for next turn if the game goes on. No one's going to rival them there. They're playing with a shot attack gun, but couldn't hit. But did get some dangerous results if it did, but just missed. All the big shooters up here, I wish all the Dark Eldar could save like these. These didn't take any damage, being in that hard cover. It's good for them. And then the Gorkanaut fired pretty much all at this venom. Hitting on 6s, the results were mixed for it, and it's now got 2 wounds left, so it's teetering, but still in the fight, so that was very important. Don't want the witches out in the open there. So the Orks putting in some damaging results again, but they are getting those 2 points for that babysitting that objective in the centre there. The Gorkanaut has fulfilled his destiny. So 2 points for the Orks this turn. They now are ahead by 1 point. We're going to have to see what comes along in the Dark Eldar turn. Right, it's Drukhari and it's turn 5, so it's possibly the final turn. So we've pulled our objective cards. We've got Domination, which is always an impossible dream, so that has to get discarded immediately. And we've pulled Big Game Hunter, which is a possibility. We've still got our Dark Lancers left. Only one Razor Wing can be on site to shoot something. I think this one's out of play really. It's been whizzing around, but can't find a target, I don't think. We pulled Mission Critical Objective. So you roll a dice and then the objective corresponding to that, you get a point for it. So we rolled a 4. So these Incubi standing here, it's not all of a waste of time after all. In the end, they are going to score a point, so don't feel so bad about them hiding behind the wall all game. And behind enemy line, so the witches right in the corner with the venom, they will score a point for being there as well. So these two units are finally giving me points in the end, so it's a feel-good factor there for me. So we're going to see if we can get Big Game Hunter. We're going to fire this at the truck, and that's the only thing that matters this turn really. Tell you what, we'll fire we'll fire this first. So we're going to do the Dark Lancers at it. We're going to do, well, all weapons at this truck. We're going to do the Monocyte missiles, and they're strength 6. No, we'll do the strength 7 one, where you can reroll the wound. So we'll do the Dark Lancers first. So 2 hits from the Dark Lancers on this truck. There's 1 wound that goes straight through the armour. The damage is 1. Right, it's already taken 3 wounds, so it's that's its 4th. It's got 6 left. Right, so it was the Shatterfield missile that we're meant to say. It's the one that rerolls to wound, so D6 shots, we're getting 6 finally. We've got some good result there. Hitting on a 3. And that is a very good roll to hit. Right, so this is strength 7, so we're needing 3s to wound. And we get a reroll wounds, and that's very well that we do. Right, wow. Okay, finally. We get it. A very good roll. So there's 5 wounds, and it's AP -1, so you're saving on 5s with the truck.
How many damage?
It's only 1 damage.
So it doesn't matter around
it doesn't matter about Ramshackle.
So 5?
Yep, so 5, saving on 5s. Not a 1. The Orks don't get a save this time. So 5, he's only got 1 wound left on this truck. That is significant because we're going to fire the poison guns off the front. I'm going to see if it's in rate of fire range actually. Right, so it's not within rate of fire, so the twin splinter rifle do get 2 hits. We're needing 6s to wound because of vehicle. We'll finally get a wound with the poison weapon as well. For some reason it's all happening now. So 7 on a 4. If it's not saved, then we're going to get Big Game Hunter. But it is saved. Alright then, so we're going to have to dedicate all of the firepower on this roof at it. We'll try the Dark Lance. It's missed. We've got a blaster in range as well, upon height. And that's missed as well. We're going to have to count up our splinter rifles and hope for another 6. Right, so 4 splinter rifles. And they all hit, needing 6s. We'll get 1, a 4 or higher to save it. No, it's finally gone down.
I'm going to use a command roll.
I was going to say, here comes the command re-roll. And it's a pass, so our dreams are crushed once again. So no Big Game Hunter this time. Right, I've been around the board, I've tried to find some firepower from somewhere to kill the truck, but it's just not going to happen. So we've got our points to count up. So we've got 1 point for the Incubi being there. We've got another point for behind enemy lines with the venom. Right, so it's Ork turn 6 possibly. We'll have to see if the game continues. So we've counted up the points. We've both got 9 each, 10 if you count in line breaker, because we both are scoring it. That's if the game ends. So it's significant because the Orks have got 1 stratagem left, so they can re-roll this if they don't get it. So it's a 3+, the game continues, and the Orks will roll on to a possible victory here. So 3+ is required. And they don't need the command re-roll, just goes straight in to turn 6 for the Orks. into Ork turn 6 now. They don't need to do much to score big. They've got it all in the bank now. Just need to hold on to these 2 objectives by the end of the turn, which is easily achieved. And it's 2 points each, so they're definitely going to come away with 4 points at least here. They pulled hold the line, which isn't going to be done, or they're going to try and get it done, but they've got to kill that venom and the witches inside, which is going to be hard because they haven't got the range to do it, since all of the Ork force is on this side. So I think what they're just going to do is just try some target practice and shoot down that razor wing in the distance for a bit of target practice, and everyone's lined up for a shot as well. Alright, so the Orks have completed the shooting phase now. Just everything basically at the flyer. Looters pretty much exclusively rolling 6s there. They've really hammered the razor wing. It's only got 2 wounds left. It didn't go down, fired all the small arms fire at it. Just held on, so it's smoking, but it's not down just yet. But it's almost out. The venom takes a bit of stick. Only takes 1 wound from the Gorkanaut who fired the super shooter at it. Still hitting on 6s against that venom's really saved its bacon. It's hanging on, but this wasn't quite as lucky. So because this just held on, it's saved from getting shot at on this unit. So they will continue on. But the Orks are going to score 2 for this objective, 2 for this objective behind the wall. So 4 points for them. Turn 6 for the Drukhari, with hardly anything to move now, just the flyers to crisscross, and the venom just stays put, as does the incubi. The damaged flyer just flies over here. It's just going to try and get some sly shots off at something. The other razor wing comes over from here. It's going to try and deal with this. So what we need to do is get hold the line. So we need to eradicate all of these Orks somehow and take out this truck, because it's got its wheel in the deployment. So all we've got to do that is this flyer and the unit on top. So we're going to see how this turns out. If we can do it, then that's a point for line breaker. If we can take out the truck, that'll be Big Game Hunter. And we've got secure objective 4 again, so the incubi, just by standing there, will score again, so it's not in vain. Right, we've completed the shooting phase. It's been somewhat of a success. We've put some damage on the Gorkanaut, but I think it's a little bit too late for any of that, but we'll do severely damage him with the Darkland shot on a 5 from the flyer. Over here, this is where we wanted it to happen. So we destroyed the truck for Big Game Hunter. It only had 1 left, and then through the firepower of the flyer and the unit up here, we've been able to whittle this Ork squad down to 4 left. They took 5 casualties, and it's time for a leadership test. If they roll a 6, then they're gonna go away, and that'll score them a point. So what? 5.
Command reroll.
Command reroll. Here we go.
Okay.
Right. So because they lost 4. No, sorry, they lost 5. Plus 4, that's 9. Leadership 7. So scratch that. Ork boys are actually leadership 6 these days, so there's only 1 left, but that's all they needed. So that command reroll was actually where it was at. Your leadership 7 if you've got a knob, but there's no knob in that unit. Alright, so they're hanging on, and that's going to stop the Drukhari scoring hold the line, but we are going to score Big Game Hunter and secure objective 4 for the incubi behind this wall. Alright, so here comes another crucial dice roll to see if the game continues. Orks are ahead by 1 point. So on a 4+, the game continues. The game ends. No command points. Those are burned through long ago. So the Orks win by 1 point. We've both included the line breaker score from this Ork hanging on and the venom scoring for the Dark Eldar. But the Orks take it. It was those defend objectives for here, here and that one. Just scoring 6 points. Easy 6 points for the Orks. They were just everywhere that they needed to be. So big Ork victory there. They just had the might to do it. Had the firepower to do it as well. Didn't show itself in the first couple of turns with the looters, but in those last handful of turns there, they just rolled nothing but 3s for the shots and just kept on rolling 6s and 5s. It didn't even matter with the Harlequins, all special abilities with hitting on 5s and 6s and this, that and the other. The Orks just incredible in the second half for the firepower. Just came back from out of nowhere. So, a bit disappointed I never got to use the incubi. I was looking forward to them. Witches as well, I was looking forward to using their new rules, but I thought they would serve a purpose, carving around the side.
Yeah, so I think a lucky win for the Orks there. The battle wagon was definitely the man of the match for me. It did keep the shock attack gun and the looters alive and kicking, and was able to spit out some firepower.
Okay, so another big Ork win there. They've already dispatched the Imperial Guard, now they've dispatched Xenos.